I'm glad to be facilitating today's session. Maybe first of all, I would want to just get a little bit acquainted with those who are here. Let me stop sharing first so that I can. Okay, great. Okay, we have currently have about 15 people. And I'm sure more will be joining in. When we're few, I thought I would be able to get to know each person one after the other, but I think that will take some time if we go through the number. But I would want to just know a bit of your background generally with respect to statistics and with SPSS. So, first of all, my name is Ejimai Eboreme. I am a public health physician and a prevention scientist here at the University of Alberta in Canada. I've done quite a few stuff relating to statistics, so I'm hoping to share my knowledge today and hope that we can all benefit today. How many of you can indicate by just that little reaction there, raising your hand, how many of you have some bit of experience with statistics? There's that reaction button down, and then you see raise hand. Okay, one person. Okay, how many of you do not have any experience with statistics? Okay, that's 3 people. 4, 5, okay. Quite a number. Okay, how many of you have experience with statistics and you don't want to raise up your hand? Can you indicate? Because I went both sides and we still don't have everybody raising their hand for something, and we want this to be a participatory class, right? Or 2 people do not want to indicate, have indicated that they don't want to indicate. Okay, great. Okay, so the next question I want to ask is, how many of you have had some experience with SPSS? Theophilus, you have? FA? Okay. Lowell, okay, great, awesome. So we have some people who have used SPSS previously. Now, I also want to confirm again, how many of you have SPSS on your computers right now? Okay. How many of you have SPSS on your computers right now? Because this is supposed to be a practical class, so I think the instructions were that you should have, okay, we have more people raising their hands. Okay, great. How many of you do not have SPSS on your computers? Are those residual hands or people actually indicating? Philip, Sidani? Okay. So do the rest, maybe I should ask people individually. Vivian, do you have SPSS on your computer?
Yes.
Okay, but you didn't indicate.
Do. Good evening.
Good evening. Yeah, but you didn't indicate.
I did.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay. Who did not indicate? Faith, do you have SPSS on your computer?
No, sir.
You don't. Okay. Who else? Chidindu,
I do.
You do?
Sorry, I was speaking on mute. Yes, I do.
Okay, okay, great. Okay, fine. So we will be doing this session. We'll have some bit of practical sessions for you to run, and then we'll see basically how you're keeping up with the basic knowledge of SPSS that we'll be discussing today. So I'll be sharing my screen in a moment. I would want to, first of all, begin by letting you know that statistics is not about software, right? So having good knowledge of a software would not, having knowledge of software cannot help you analyze data, because what a software does is to help you to do what you already plan to do. And that is why my first question was whether you have had knowledge with or experience with statistics, right? Adeba, is your hand raised or it's a residual hand? I can see a hand raised there. Are you asking a question or it's been there? Okay, let me continue. Did you say something?
My hand has been raised.
Okay, you can put it down now. Please, thank you.
Please, thank you.
Okay, great, awesome. Yeah. Yeah, so a software will give you basically what you give it. And so that's why, just like they say in computer science, garbage in, garbage out. You would need to have that knowledge about statistics to find the software SPSS or any other software useful to you. And secondly, software knowledge is not, no training can give you adequate knowledge of statistics or the use of software. What these trainings will do would be to give you an exposure and appreciation of what the software can do. And to actually gain skill, you would have to continue after the training to engage and interact with the software and with statistics. And if you do not, after a while, you can actually forget about it. You can actually forget how to use it, right? So, and there's a whole lot that statistical packages can do. There's a whole lot that SPSS can do, and it keeps evolving each year with new versions coming up. And no single person has all the knowledge about it. I think the most recent SPSS versions, for example, have integration with Python, for example. So SPSS has now been expanded to do things that previously it could not do in these days of coding, right? So essentially, the extent to which you go with your knowledge of statistics and with your knowledge of software would depend on how much you continually engage with it, right? So do not assume that once you undergo a training, you would be able to, that's enough for you, no. There has to be that innate individual passion to learn more, and there are a whole lot of resources that you would that you could access on the internet, and some also are also shared with you in the course of this this program. Yeah, so yeah, so this set of teachings were prepared by Dr. Ibrahim Abioye, who is here with us. We will go through these. Where do you find SPSS? How do you get SPSS? Now, the thing with SPSS compared to R is that SPSS is not free. It would need to be purchased or acquired somehow, some other means, but SPSS is not free. But a software like R or Python, those are free software, right? Yeah. So we're going to be looking at comparing the various views of SPSS. We'll be able to define variables in variable view and variable labels, and learn how to input data, and also how to import data for those who are used to working with other software packages. I know that a whole lot of us, I probably should have asked that before. A lot of us should at least have some knowledge about Excel. How many of us have been using Excel, Microsoft Excel? Okay. Excel, Microsoft Excel. That one that has a spreadsheet that has tables and stuff. Only FA and Theophilus. Okay, and essay. Come on, I know that many of us actually use Excel. All right. Yeah, so we'll learn how to export data or how to import data from Excel and other software, other files rather, and how to export SPSS data into those other files as well. Yeah. So for those who are champions in coding, I'm sure you've already started taking the R class, right? So I'm sure this link was shared with you on how you can acquire SPSS software, and some of us have it. So you've already installed SPSS on your systems, right? So let's look at data management and variables. Now, SPSS has two views essentially. You have the data view and you have the variable view. Now, the first thing you do in SPSS is actually to define your variables in the variable view. And there are, as you can see on that snapshot, there are 11 characteristics with which you can define your variable. I would want to maybe first of all ask again, test our knowledge about different kinds of variables. What kind of variables do you know? Kuswan says, Kuswan, anyone with the link for that? Okay. Yeah. So what kind of variables do you know? I'll pick you up to talk one after the other, right? If you do not indicate. Philip? Philip, are you there? Okay. Nee, can you talk to us about variables?
Okay, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, so we can have categorical variable, discrete variables, and continuous variables.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Any other does any person have other things to say about variables? Can you classify variables beyond a broader classification beyond what Nee has given? He gave some classifications, but I just want to, if we can go a bit systematic. Where are the people who said they had done a bit of statistics?
Nominal, ordinal.
Okay, that's another classification, but what kind of variables are nominal and ordinal?
Nominal variables, they usually don't have any, they are not in order. like name is nominal, for example, and ordinal, they have orders to them.
Okay.
Basically.
So if I have a variable like age, is it
Yes.
nominal or ordinal?
Yes.
Well, you're breaking up. I can't hear you. Oh, okay.
I think age is ordinal.
Sorry?
I think age is ordinal since there is an order to it. You can't reduce in age. You can only go forward.
Okay. Do you, if you agree, can I see your hand up? And I want everybody participating, please. Okay, I can see 5 people agreeing with him. 6 now. Okay, if you disagree, can I see your hand up? Okay, Funke, Funke, why do you disagree?
I think age should be nominal because age, there's nothing, ordinal is like something when we have like mild, moderate, severe, when a particular entity has varying orders. So, but I think age is age. If I'm 20, I'm 20. So I think it should be nominal.
Okay.
I don't think
Does anybody disagree with Funke?
Hello.
Okay, hello, Adebisi.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. Dr. Adebisi, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I think it can actually be ordinal.
It's like you're having connection problems. We can hear you. So while you're fixing that, let's Ifoma, I think I can see Ifoma's hand up. What do you want to say about that?
Okay, good evening, everyone. I think age is ordinal because it can be quantitatively ordered. Like it has a specific quantitative number attached to it. Everybody has an age, and which is ordered. So I think it's ordinal. It's an ordinal data.
Okay. So I can see that we need some bit refining with our statistics, right? Now.
Hello.
Okay. Who is saying something? Me?
Age, for me, I think age, I would characterize age as a continuous variable.
Okay, so you brought a different classification now. It's neither, because why we had these conversations, because someone said that we have 2 kinds of variables, either nominal or ordinal. And so I asked the person, okay, how would you now classify age, right? So that means, do you agree that classification is nominal and ordinal? Or you disagree? Nee.
I didn't get your question. Did I agree that what?
Do you agree with the first speaker that classification of variables, that all variables can be classified as into 2 categories, nominal and ordinal? Do you agree or do you disagree with that?
No, not all variables will be. I would think that ordinal and the other type of variable would be under categorical variables. There are sub-classifications under categorical variables.
Okay, so what are the broad classifications of variables? So we are back to the first question.
Like I said earlier, categorical, discrete, and continuous.
Categorical, discrete, and continuous.
Variables.
Okay. So generally, variables are broadly classified into 2. right? You have quantitative variables and qualitative variables. Quantitative variables are variables by just as mentioned that can be quantified in numbers. They can either be counted or measured, right? So things like age, height, weight, number of persons in this forum, those are quantitative variables. Qualitative variables, on the other hand, are variables that are described by their qualities or their characteristics. So that is where we have things like sex, gender, color, and all that, right? So for qualitative variables, they are broadly classified into two, right? You have the nominal variables, which are those that can be named, and you have the ordinal variables, variables that have an order to it. So that's why it was wrong for people to say that age, which is a quantitative variable, is an ordinal variable, because it is not. Age is something that is numerical. So quantitative variables are also called numerical variables, right? Qualitative variables cannot be counted or measured, so they are defined by the characteristics. So you have sex, which people can fall into classes. There used to be 2 classes, but now I think there are more. So you're either you could be male, female, or let's say others, right? But there's no specific order to it. You don't have male being higher than female or vice versa, right? Same thing with colors. You could have red, yellow, green, blue. No one is greater than the other.
Right? Excuse me, sir.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, I would like to differ a bit on the age.
Okay.
Yeah, the reason being that, what if we decide to, on the basis of the age, ascribe such template as old, middle age, young to people? Can we therefore now say that it can actually be both nominal and ordinal in certain instances?
Okay, I love your difference. Yeah, when I was talking about age, I was talking about age in terms of age in years, right?
Okay.
Now you're talking about age in characteristics, and even age in years can be converted into a categorical variable as well, and we'll have that conversation as well. So, for example, if I choose to say, okay, I want to categorize age into 0 to 5 years, 6 to 10 years, and all that, I've converted it from being a quantitative variable to a qualitative variable, and which now becomes an ordinal variable, right?
Yeah.
So maybe I should have said age in years, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Fine. So you're right. Yeah. So that's it. So you have nominal and you have ordinal variables, which are qualitative variables. And for quantitative variables, you have discrete variables and you have continuous variables. So discrete variables are variables that you can count. They're also called count variables. While so things like, well, some will say age in years is a count variable too, because it's in whole numbers. You don't have decimal places. But once they have decimal places, they become continuous variables, right? So can someone else give me another example of a continuous variable?
Sure, the measurement of height.
Height, okay, great. So
The
someone
weight
else?
also.
Okay, you said height and weight. Someone else? Examples?
I think body temperature too.
Blood pressure.
Blood pressure, body temperature, perfect. So how about
Body
discrete
mass
variables?
index.
Hello? Hello, are you there? Discrete variables, examples?
Hospital number.
Okay, hospital number.
Yes.
Okay,
What doesn't come in decimal and it's number.
That can be argued a little bit because I wouldn't want to use hospital number because hospital number, I may argue that it's a qualitative variable. I mean, some may argue that because it's an identity. It's not a count. You're not counting patients. You are assigning an identity to them. So I wouldn't take hospital number as a quantitative variable. I don't know whether you understand my point.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's more like replacing a name, right? It's not, you're not counting the patients to assign hospital numbers to them. You're giving them a name in numbers. So it's actually it's actually a qualitative variable.
So it's
a nominal
nominal
variable. Okay. Yeah, it's a nominal variable.
An example is
Olusa, your hand is up.
Yes. Someone mentioned blood pressure under continuous the other time. Blood pressure don't come in decimal, does it?
Okay. So that's a bit controversial, right?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah. But blood pressure is measured, it's not counted, right?
Okay.
Yes. So I don't know. I wouldn't. I mean, because if you want to, if you now take the average blood pressure, for example, are you going to come up with a decimal point? Average systolic blood pressure.
Okay, it will come.
Yeah.
It could.
So it's not discrete.
Okay.
I should also just jump in that, when you measure blood pressure in the clinic, you're measuring it to the closest whole number.
Whole number, yeah.
Yeah.
There is, the true blood pressure is not what we're measuring. There's always some approximation going on in the background.
Yeah. Thank you, Ibrahim. Yeah. So that's it. It's an approximation, right? So you're not. So this is the way you think about these variables. Discrete variables are counted. Think about counting, right? If you're counting, you're not going to. Whatever you count is a discrete variable, and whatever you measure is most likely a continuous variable, right? Great. So this knowledge will come into play when we begin to do our exercises in SPSS. Yeah. So now when you look at your SPSS, now I want us to open SPSS on our systems. Is SPSS open on our various systems right now? Because the next few slides are going to be just tables. So I would shift from this SPSS picture that is right on your screen right now to look at those presentations while I'm describing the content. So it will be good for you to appreciate it by looking at the data view of your SPSS. Either one, data or variable view works. So do we have it open on our systems right now? Just lift your hands up if you have done that, so that I have an idea of where we are. Okay, so we have some people who have done that. So I'll just move on. So, yeah, so switch to your variable view. I think that's more appropriate for this exercise. So like I said, we have two views, and if you look down, you're going to see that. Can you see my cursor? Or do I need to use a pointer? Okay. So if you go down here, you're going to see two views here, right? There's the data view and there's the variable view. So just click to your variable view. And you see something like this. You're going to see this name, type, with decimal label, and all the others. Oh, well, it's not shifting. I'm trying to change my screen, but okay, good. All right, so the first thing you see there is name. Now, each variable must have a unique identity or name starting with a letter, right? So the variable